Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. I'm on my way up north to Ottawa, Canada. I could have flown, but I decided to be a little adventurous and drive there. From where I was, it was a 10-hour drive along the interstates, about 600 miles of highway driving. All in all, not a terribly exciting drive. Pennsylvania had some nice mountainous areas with reasonable views, but I was just driving through there, so I didn't really stop to check them out. New York State was pretty flat and empty, an easy drive, but not much to see there at all. But after a long day on the road, I finally made it, and I celebrated with one of Canada's most famous foods, poutine. Fries, gravy, and cheese curds. You'll find poutine everywhere in Ottawa, but make sure it's got real cheese curds on it. Some places use shredded cheese, but that's just to trick tourists that don't know any better. You've got to get cheese curds. Okay, so on my first day I went to one of the trendy neighborhoods in Ottawa, the Glebe. It's south of downtown and mostly full of little stores and restaurants. If you're there, you need to get a gelato at Stella Luna. It's won awards from all over the world and their gelato is incredibly good. There are lines there all summer long, but it's definitely worth the wait. While I ate mine, I took a walk along the Rideau Canal. Very beautiful in summer, but in the winter it turns into a giant skating rink and is a huge tourist destination. But the main reason I was in the Glebe is to go to TD Place Stadium. In Canada, they had the Canadian Football League, and I was lucky enough to catch one of the Ottawa RedBlacks games. It's pretty close to American football, but the field's a little longer, there are only 3 downs, and a few other small changes. But it was really fun to watch, a beautiful day, and the atmosphere at the stadium was incredible. If you're a sports fan, definitely worth checking out. On day 2, I decided to get out to nature a bit. I went to the Mer Bleue Bog, a really nice nature area with a mile or so of boardwalks you can walk along. A lot more calm and peaceful than the city. But after that, the rain started. It put an end to my nature plans, but at least I got to see a rainbow. For dinner, I had some super popular Ottawa fast food, a shawarma sandwich. Ottawa claims to be the shawarma capital of the world, and I believe them. There were shawarma shops on just about every block. They have these huge rotisseries of meat spinning around, and when you order it, they shave off some and put it in your sandwich. It's topped off with a bunch of other things, but the secret ingredient is a super strong garlic sauce. They even load it on the potatoes. Day 3, and I'm heading downtown. The Byward Market is pretty much the go-to place for tourists. It's near the major tourist sites, and it's loaded with bars, restaurants, and nightlife. But as you probably guessed from the name, it's also an open-air market. You can get all sorts of stuff there, but a lot of people go there for the stands filled with local produce. And of course, since it's Canada, you know there are going to be plenty of maple syrup products to get as souvenirs, right? And after the market, I took a walk across the river to Gatineau in the province of Quebec. They have some tourist sites over there too, but the one I really wanted to see was MosaiCulture Gatineau. It's a park filled with these huge topiary sculptures made from living plants. They had about 50 different sculptures there of all different shapes and sizes. One of my favorites was the bird tree surrounded by a lake. There were so many different animals in the sculpture, the detail was really amazing. Another one I really liked reminded me of the island goddess Tafiti from the Disney movie Moana. It was really cool to see how the waterfall flowed over her hand. Overall, definitely worth the walk over. On the way back, instead of taking the bridge, I took a water taxi. The highlight of the trip was definitely the view you get of the Canadian Parliament buildings. Really great to see them from the water like that. And to top the day off, I had an Ottawa specialty, a Beavertail. They're a flat pastry in the shape of a beaver's tail with cinnamon and sugar on top. Definitely worth trying if you want something sweet. Day 4 was all about seeing some animals. I started it off with a visit to Little Ray's Reptile Zoo. Not very big, but they had a lot of animals to see. But the best part was the demonstrations they give where you get to see the animals up close and even touch them. We got to see a tortoise, a big snake, an armadillo, and even a sloth. After that, I went to the Canadian Agriculture Museum. Not quite as exciting as the reptiles, but if you want to see some Canadian farm animals, then you might like it. And to finish the day off, another thing that I've only ever seen in Canada, chicken balls. Almost every Chinese meal in Canada comes with them as a side dish. Pieces of chicken covered in batter and topped with sweet and sour sauce. They're pretty close to sweet and sour chicken, but all the pieces come formed into ball shapes. They're really tasty. Day 5 was my last day, but I still managed to fit in some excitement. It was Canada Day. It was scorching hot, but there was no way I was going to miss being in Canada's capital for their National Day. I got up bright and early, headed downtown, and joined in with everyone else wearing their red and white. Even early in the morning, there were still huge crowds of people out there celebrating and having a good time. Unfortunately, I had to leave before the party really got started and they had the fireworks in the evening, but even then, it was great to see the excitement of Ottawa on Canada Day. So that's my travel vlog about my trip to Ottawa, Canada. A great trip, great weather, and great times. I'd been to Ottawa before, so this time I got to try some things a little bit different than last time, and I'm really glad that I did. If you liked the video, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's free and helps you know whenever my new videos come out. And make sure to click the like button, share it with your friends, and leave a question or comment. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.